6 and 6, where I cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in South America, where Naval del Ruiz, a volcanic eruption in 1985, was a catastrophic event in Colombia that killed approximately 25,000 people in the town of Armeo through a devastating mudflow. 40 years later, families continue to search for hundreds of missing children, with many believing that some were lost in the mudflow while others have been illegally adopted. The disaster remains an unresolved trauma for survivors and victims' families. From Reuters, quote, 40 years later, the Colombian government has yet to provide a full account of what happened or deliver justice to those families who lost children during the catastrophe. The unresolved fates of these children remain an open wound for those impacted by the disaster, end quote. Next, we travel across the world to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and who has produced its first 1,000 tons of fully traceable artisanal cobalt, marking a significant milestone in ethical mining sourcing. This initiative aims to address concerns over child labor and environmental issues in traditional mining practices by implementing a comprehensive tracking system for cobalt extraction. From Reuters, quote, companies sourcing from the DRC can now confidently assure consumers that their cobalt upholds the highest ethical standards, said Pauline Lumbamba, head of the Congolese technical unit for certifying and tracking minerals. The ultimate goal is to not only bolster the country's global standing as a key supplier of cobalt, but also to improve the livelihoods and working conditions of artisanal miners, end quote. Next, we travel back across the Atlantic to Cuba, who is experiencing a Chikungunya virus outbreak, with health authorities implementing extensive fumigation and public awareness campaigns to combat the spread, which is done via mosquitoes. The tropical climate creates favorable conditions for the breeding of these mosquitoes and making the outbreak particularly challenging. From Reuters, quote, Dr. Maria Gomez is the leading epidemiologist, emphasized the significance of the outbreak, stating that Cuba's warm, humid climate is ideal for Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. She highlighted the importance of public education, preventative action, like eliminating standing water, and prompt medical intervention to control the virus's spread, end quote. Next, we travel across the world to China, where Gao Xinhua, head of the Securities Regulatory Commission in China, has sought approval to step down after a 5-year tenure marked by significant financial market reforms. His leadership focused on modernizing China's securities markets, improving transparency, and cracking down on market violations. From Reuters, quote, Gao's tenure has been noted for significant strides in modernizing China's financial markets. Under his leadership, the CSRC has made concerted efforts to align with international best practices, championing reforms targeting greater market transparency, enhancing security of financial disclosures, end quote. Next, we travel down from China to New Zealand, where Wes Bunting has resigned as the women's rugby coach following a disappointing performance at the Women's Rugby World Cup. The team failed to defend their title, prompting Bunting to step down and make way for new leadership. From Reuters, quote, we went into this tournament with high hopes and the ambition to lift the trophy again, representing New Zealand with the pride and passion our supporters have come to expect. Unfortunately, we've fallen short of these expectations. This team has immense potential, and I'm confident that with the right guidance, they will excel in years to come, end quote. And finally, we end today in Europe, where the current Labour government in the UK, led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Finance Minister Rachel Reeves, has decided to abandon a planned income tax increase originally scheduled for 2025. This strategic reversal reflects a commitment to economic stability and responsiveness to current financial conditions. The decision underscores the government's prioritization of economic growth and public welfare over previously proposed fiscal measures. From Reuters, quote, we are focused on fostering an economic environment conducive to job creation and investment, recognizing that the well-being of UK citizens depends on sustainable economic policies, not short-term fiscal interventions, Rachel Reeves, the finance minister of the UK, said. And with that, if you want to read any of today's article, you can find them all in the link in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Podcast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post the links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and the normal US Folks podcast on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die.